If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. Hello, self-developers, and welcome to the Patrick Kelly Podcast for Self-Development, where I will be reviewing audible books on self-development that can change your life for the better this year and years to come. It is said that if we keep on doing what we always did, we will keep on getting what we always got. In other words, to change our output, we first have to change our input. Today is February 13th, 2022, and this is episode 7 of season 2. And today we'll be reviewing the audible book Mindset by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. This audible book will teach you how to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset in order to win in life. Chapter 1. The Mindsets. A few modern philosophers assert that an individual's intelligence is a fixed quantity, a quantity which cannot be increased. We must protest and react against this brutal pessimism. Without practice, training, and above all, method, we manage to increase our attention, our memory, our judgment, and literally to become more intelligent than we were before. Scientists are learning that people have more capacity for lifelong learning and brain development than they ever thought. What does this all mean for you? Research has shown that the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. It can determine whether you become the person you want to be and whether you accomplish the things you value. Your intelligence mindset comes into play when situations involve mental ability. Your personal mindset comes into play in situations that involve your personal qualities, for example, how dependable, cooperative, caring, or socially skilled you are. The fixed mindset makes you concerned with how you will be judged. The growth mindset makes you concerned with improving. You can change your mindset. Chapter 2. Inside the mindsets. There are two meanings to ability, not one. A fixed ability that needs to be proven and a changeable ability that can be developed through learning. That's how the mindsets are born. When you enter a mindset, you enter a new world. In one world, the world of fixed traits, success is about proving you're smart or talented, validating yourself. In the other, the world of changing qualities, it's about stretching yourself to learn something new. Developing yourself in one world, effort is a bad thing. It, like failure, means you're not smart or talented. If you were, you wouldn't need effort. In the other world, effort is what makes you smart or talented. You have a choice. Mindsets are just beliefs. They're powerful beliefs, but they're just something in your mind, and you can change your mind. Chapter 3. The truth about ability and accomplishment. People who have a growth mindset completely take charge of their learning and motivation. People who have a fixed mindset feel that they cannot learn and are unmotivated to change. What any person in the world can learn, almost all persons can learn, if provided with the appropriate prior and current conditions of learning. The fixed mindset limits achievement. It fills people's minds with interfering thoughts. It makes effort disagreeable, and it leads to inferior learning strategies. The growth mindset lets people, even those who are targets of negative labels, use and develop their minds fully. Their heads are not filled with limiting thoughts, a fragile sense of belonging, and a belief that other people can define them. Chapter 4. Sports. The mindset of champions. You would think the sports world would have to see the relation between practice and improvement and between the mind and performance and stop harping so much on innate physical talent. Yet, it's almost as if they refuse to see. Perhaps it's because, as author Malcolm Gladwell suggests, people prize natural endowment over earned ability. As much as our culture talks about individual effort and self-improvement, deep down, he argues, we revere the naturals. We like to think of our champions and idols as superheroes who are born different from us. We don't like to think of them as relatively ordinary people who made themselves extraordinary through 10,000 hours of deliberate practice and hard work. Chapter 5. Business, Mindset, and Leadership. Jim Collins, the author of the book Good to Great, set out to discover what made some companies move from being good to being great. What was it that allowed them to make the leap to greatness and stay there, while other comparable companies just held steady at good? To answer this question, he and his research team embarked on a 5-year study. They selected 11 companies whose stock returns had skyrocketed relative to other companies in their industry and who had maintained this edge for at least 15 years. They matched each company to another one in the same industry that had similar resources but did not make the leap. He also studied a third group of companies, ones that had made a leap from good to great but did not sustain it. What distinguished the thriving companies from the others? Collins discovered that the companies that sustained their great status had a growth mindset by adopting and learning and were always seeking to hire the best people to scale their businesses, while the companies that went out of business and never went from good to great had a fixed mindset and never learned to hire the best people and adapt to changing times. Chapter 6. Relationships, Mindsets in Love or Not. Mindsets add another dimension. They help us understand even more about why people often don't learn the skills they need or use the skills they have, while people throw themselves so hopefully into new relationships only to undermine themselves. Why love often turns into a battlefield where the carnage is staggering, and most important, they help us understand why some people are able to build lasting and satisfying relationships. The growth mindset says all of these things can be developed. All you, your partner, and the relationship are capable of growth and change. The fixed mindset believes if you have to work at building a relationship, it was not meant to be. As with personal achievement, this belief that success should not need effort robs people of the very thing they need to make their relationship thrive. It's probably why so many relationships go stale, because people believe that being in love means never having to do anything taxing. Chapter 7. Parents, Teachers, and Coaches. Where do mindsets come from? No today to undermine my children, subvert their effort, turn them off learning, and limit their achievement. Of course not. They think I would do anything, give anything to make my children successful. Yet many of the things that they do boomerang. Their helpful judgments, their lessons, their motivating techniques often send the wrong message. In fact, every word and action can send a message. It tells children or students or athletes how to think about themselves. It can be a fixed mindset message that says, you have permanent traits and I'm judging you. Or it can be a growth mindset message that says, you are a developing person and I am committed to your development. Chapter 8. Changing Mindsets. People with a growth mindset are also constantly monitoring what's going on, but their internal monologue is not about judging themselves and others in this way. Certainly, they're sensitive to positive and negative information, but they're attuned to its implications for learning and constructive action. What can I learn from this? How can I improve? How can I help my partner do this better? Learning about the growth mindset can cause a big shift in the way people think about themselves and their lives. Many people think of the brain as a mystery. They don't know much about intelligence and how it works. When they do think about what intelligence is, Many people believe that a person is born either smart, average, or dumb and stays that way for life. But new research shows that the brain is more like a muscle. It changes and gets stronger when you use it. And scientists have been able to show just how the brain grows and gets stronger when you learn and maintain a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. Examples of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Growth mindset.
Failure is an opportunity to grow.
Fixed mindset.
Failure is the limit of my abilities.
Growth mindset.
I can learn to do anything.
Fixed mindset.
I'm either good at it or I'm not.
Growth mindset.
Challenges help me grow.
Fixed mindset.
I don't like to be challenged.
Growth mindset.
I'm inspired by the success of others.
Fixed mindset.
I'm jealous by the success of others.
Growth mindset.
I like to try new things.
Fixed mindset.
I stick with the old methods.
Growth mindset.
My effort and attitude determine everything.
Fixed mindset.
My abilities determine everything.
Question to ask yourself: do I have a fixed mindset that keeps me stuck where I am in life? Or do I have a growth mindset that states no matter how hard it gets, in some way, in some form, in some fashion, I am going to learn how to get better in order to win? Closing thoughts. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this Audible book a super duper 5 for teaching the difference between a fixed mindset that keeps you stuck and a growth mindset that helps you to win. To find out more about this Audible book, go to www.audible.com and download this Audible book, or go to www.mindsetworks.com to find out more information about the author. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you do not miss an episode. And also remember to please share this episode via text or email with friends and family and other people that you care about. Follow me on Twitter at Kelly Podcast or Instagram at PatrickKelly_podcast. For more episodes of the Patrick Kelly Podcast for self-development, go to www.thepatrickkellypodcast.com. If you would like to donate $1 or more to the support of this podcast, click the donate button at www.thepatrickkellypodcast.com or go to $Patrick Kelly Podcast on Cash App, and I'll be sure to thank you on the next episode. This is the end of this podcast for today. Tune in next week Sunday for the next episode and the next Audible book of over 300 books that I'll be reviewing on the Patrick Kelly Podcast for self-development. If you enjoyed this podcast, take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. This really helps me out. Feel free to share this podcast with someone you care about. And remember, your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Take care.